My boyfriend's parents paid for them. My boyfriend's siblings and their so-to all go on a flight to Cabo for spring break. Becky, his mom, hasn't seemed to like me for some reason. She always makes snide remarks about my parents' blue-collar jobs and my field is nursing. We get to the airport and Becky got 7 other people first-class tickets and me 1 coach ticket. She told me I was used to it and she had a free coach ticket, so I should be grateful for going. They all did their express check-ins and left me in the long line for me to think about what the heck is going on. I had to keep from crying the whole time in line. I got up to the counter and there was a baggage fee to me. My boyfriend at the time never once helped me through the coach line or said anything to his mom. I looked over at his mom's smug face as I was about to pay the checked baggage fee. And I let all of my frustrations out on the attendant and started crying. Basically she said, "Don't go with that family, sweetie, they don't appreciate you." Continues to cry and took my luggage and got out of line with the super sweet check-in woman. I was so upset on how I was treated and started crying on my boyfriend in the airport about how his mother was treating me. I broke up with him at the airport and his mother was so embarrassed. I told her what a bitch she was. My boyfriend has been blowing up my phone saying how could I do that to his mother and just back out of a vacation very last minute and wasted everyone's time and money. So me and my partner adopted our daughter 2 years ago. We don't have any biological children, and we don't really plan to just yet. Our daughter is 6 years old now. She does understand that she's adopted, and we've made it clear time and time again that even though she didn't come from my belly, we still love her and treat her as if she did. The other day, I took her to a pediatrician because she said that one of her ears felt full. She did have a cold last week, so that was expected, and he said that her ear would drain out eventually. All good. The nurse comes in with the discharge sheet, and commented that she would have never assumed that I was the mother of my daughter since I look nothing like her, which I don't, for obvious reasons. So then I said, oh yeah, we adopted her, so that's why she doesn't look me or my husband. Then, this nurse goes, oh okay, so she isn't your daughter. I was a little confused because I thought I had just explained this whole situation. I said again, she is my daughter, we adopted her a few years back. The nurse says, but technically she isn't your daughter, and her real mom is somewhere else. I was really upset because what the actual fuck? I said again. But she is my daughter and I am her mom. The nurse kind of sighed and said, okay, maybe legally you are, but her real mom is the one that gave birth to her. My daughter was looking up at me kind of confused, and I can't even imagine what was going through her head. I had enough. I said to this nurse, what the hell is wrong with you? I keep telling you that I am her mother, and you keep denying that, in front of my daughter no less. The nurse goes, I'm just stating a fact. Biologically she's not yours. I went again, yeah. Because she's adopted. We adopted her and gave her a home. Would I have to push her out my vagina to be her mother? The nurse goes, well, that's the dictionary definition of what a mom is. I had enough. I told her to wash her mouth of the bullshit she had been saying at me and my daughter, and I left and went home. I was really shaken up at this point and was still when we got home and my husband noticed. I told him what had happened. He told me that the nurse was really dumb for saying that, but I shouldn't have blown up on her like that. Ada Reddit. Edit, RIP my inbox. Thank you so much for everyone's kindness and support. My husband did apologize to me and he gets that I was just sticking up for our child. Who is our child whether people like it or not. We went to the clinic in person and filed a complaint, and hopefully it will turn out in our favor, and in favor of those who don't exactly have a so-called traditional family. Thanks again. Context: my husband, 33, used to be unemployed for a year. He recently started a job at a warehouse. Yesterday, and while I was about to do the laundry, I grabbed his work pants and digged my hand in its pockets to empty them before putting it in the washing machine like I always do. My husband just happened to walk by, and when he saw me searching his pants pockets, he rushed in yelling at me to put his pants down. I already had a folded piece of paper out, but he snatched it, then started screaming at me about how I have no respect for his privacy and that I shouldn't be getting my hands on his things. I was genuinely dumbfounded. I told him to take it easy, I always do this before laundry. He lashed out saying I had no right and should have come to him and asked him first because he was worried about important documents getting lost like the one I pulled out. I said important documents shouldn't be inside his pockets and asked to see the paper, but he said he won't show me. I asked why and he said I don't get to ask him jack shit after I disrespected his privacy. I almost laughed because what privacy does he have in pockets? It wasn't like a stranger was digging into them. He refused to speak to me and later brought a new closet with a lock and moved his clothes inside of it. I asked if he was serious and he said this will teach me to respect his privacy and deter my snooping. Then went back to not speaking to me. I'm genuinely confused. Ada? I, F25, have been with my boyfriend Jake, M34, for 8 months. Things were fine until I, against my better judgment, moved into his place a couple months ago. Since then, he's been getting kind of possessive and protective. I immediately told him to cut that shit out because it's off-putting, and things seemed to get better. Anyway, I have a friend in Mexico who is getting married. I've been excited to fly down for her wedding since she told me she was engaged a year ago. However, Jake has made it clear that he doesn't want me to go. He says Mexico is too dangerous, even though I've been there many times and even lived there for a year, speak Spanish, have friends there, and know my way around. No matter what I say, he doesn't want me to go. Then a couple of days ago my passport went missing from my nightstand. I'm supposed to go tomorrow, so I wouldn't have time to get a new one. I looked everywhere, no luck. When I asked Jake about it, he behaved a little suspiciously, but I dismissed it because I couldn't believe he would actually take my passport to keep me from going. But he's been giving me some red flags, so I decided to have a thorough look around. When he went out this morning, I started going through everything. As I searched, I became increasingly certain that he took my passport. I started off carefully picking through drawers and cabinets, but as my anger grew, I became a lot less careful. I started turning out drawers, pried open a briefcase, made a total mess. But I found it. It was behind some books on the bookcase in his study. I never go into his study. He definitely put it there. Now he's furious with me for going through his things and ransacking his place. He said he would have given my passport back, and there was no need for me to go crazy. I'm just angry that he took it to begin with, and I don't believe him when he says he was going to give it back. This is only my third serious relationship, and I have no perspective on this kind of thing. Ada for overreacting and ransacking my ex-boyfriend's place? Edit, thanks for the replies. I guess I was still in a weird state of disbelief that he did that, and it made me question everything. Now that I've stopped shaking and have had the time to think, talk to my mom, and to read through these replies, I feel kinda silly for even wondering if I did something wrong. Suffice it to say it's over for good. I've blocked him on everything and my dad and brother are over there getting what's left of my stuff. I'm going to try to put it out of my mind and focus on my awesome trip. My mother-in-law calls every night to ask what we're having for dinner. Then she brags about what she's cooking to make me look bad, especially if we're getting takeout. I used to care but not anymore. But my husband would ask me to make dinner only for him to go eat the dinner his mom makes at her home, which is 10 minutes away, and using the "that's my favorite meal" excuse. Yesterday, I wanted to surprise him by cooking one of his favorite meals, and although I was busy, I took time off work to cook. I even went grocery shopping to get what I needed. Later, as I was setting the table, his mom called. I told him he didn't have to answer, but he did. Like usual ... She asked what we were having but acted surprised that I cooked this meal. She then went on to tell him she cooked X meal and told him to come over. He said okay, which shocked me. I said seriously. As he started dressing up getting ready to leave, he told me no offense but this meal, that his mom cooked, was even more of a favorite than the one I cooked. And grabbed his keys and left. I felt awful. I took his plate and threw it out, then ate my portion. As I was about to put the plate in the dishwasher, he got home looking angry, saying his mom lied about cooking that favorite meal, and used it as an excuse to force him to eat dinner with her. I was shocked, but he sat down telling me to go ahead and reheat dinner. I told him no dinner after he abandoned it. I threw it out. He said what? And I told him he disrespected my time and effort and chose to go eat with his mom instead. He began yelling at me, asking if I really did that, then called me petty and horrible, then went upstairs saying what I did was 100 times worse than what his mom did. I definitely feel like I let my anger and frustration get the best of me, but it really felt unbearable having to live like this for so long. By the way, I'm 26 and he's 28. ETA to make one thing clear, and that's the fact that my husband only does this when it comes to food. He lived with his mom, attended community college, and loved and still loves her food and is used to it. She gave me recipes to make and I try to do that, but he keeps switching homes just to eat what he feels like. I have 30 started working at a company recently. I get along with most of my co-workers, but been having some issues with this guy Morgan. Morgan, from what I understand, is what everyone call the handsome guy in the office. He dated 2 of his co-workers and hit on several others. He seemed friendly when we talked, he seemed respectable and never asked questions outside of work. He offered to buy me lunch and internet and kept sending me funny memes and stuff. It was nice but felt a bit too much, so I asked that he stop, and he did. He started sending me pics of him that were inappropriate. I texted him saying that I'm married and he was being inappropriate. He texted saying I was lying about being married to get him off my back, then went on about how nice and attractive he is, and how I'm trying to act like I don't like him to get him to try harder. I felt frustrated, especially after he kept sending me pics. Days ago he sent me a DNCK pic and told me to suck it. I decided to let my husband deal with it. He sent him a text back saying sorry, but small objects are a trucking hazard for her. Then blocked him. The other day he came into the office looking furious and confronted me about being misleading by not having a wedding ring on when I'm married. I said I didn't need to prove anything to anybody and didn't lead anyone on. He said he was trying to get close to me and I should have told him I'm married from the get-go. I said I was sorry, but he shouldn't have basically tried to enforce a relationship with anyone regardless if they're in a relationship or not. He said that my husband and I were rude and offensive, then rushed out. Other co-workers said Morgan was an asshole, but I too bear the blame for having my wedding ring on and being somewhat misleading. I said I don't think I owe anyone an explanation and refused to apologize for what happened just to keep the peace in the office. Ada, really, for not wearing my wedding ring? Edit: the reason I don't wear my wedding ring is because of skin problems.